Hello YouTubers, what we are going to do today is we are going to make some croc charms. I bought these Mary Jane Crocs recently, and in the very well targeted ad at me, they had these Pearl Jibbitz on it. Now Jibbitz are $8 a piece plus shipping, and with all of these holes, if I had bought Jibbitz for them, they would have cost more than the actual shoes. So I was like, surely I can make some that work with the idea of pearls. So that's what we're going to do today. So let me go show you what you need. Okay, so first thing up you're going to need is your little croc holder. And so the big end goes into the shoe, and then the smaller end is where you actually glue whatever it is you want to glue. Now this was okay for like just these pearls because they're big enough and they match up in size. Now I wanted some bigger ones like this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut out black shrink plastic and make it the base that we glue onto our little charm here, and then we're gonna rhinestone this side, and then we'll obviously just glue this side. Now I'm using black shrink plastic because I like the look of the black and the pearls and the sparkle. And so then we're gonna go get the Cameo to cut it out for us, and then we'll shrink it and glue. Now if you don't have black shrink plastic or don't want to go buy it, you absolutely can use the white, and you can color it. Sharpie will work, or your Posca markers will work. This was one of my little first tester ones when I decided I like the black better. There's also any number of colors of shrink plastic. If you don't want black, red, yellow, they make all sorts of colors. So you can either color your white with a marker, or you can buy shrink plastic in the color you want. You also can cut it out with scissors if you don't want to use a cutting machine or you don't have a cutting machine. The reason I am not is because it's not a perfect circle and it drives me nuts. So we're gonna have the machine cut out the shapes for us today. Then we are gonna need your favoriteest rhinestones and pearls. I get them from two places. This lady is Blingee Thingee. She is on Etsy. And this is from Diamond Fire Rhinestone. I'm not affiliated with either one of them. These are just personally my two brands that I kind of end up going to a lot. So you're going to need your charms that you're going to want to glue onto your shrink plastic base that we're going to make. And then I'm going to use the Gorilla Glue to glue our shoe thingy to our plastic. And then we're going to use 2-part Bob Smith, the Bob Smith 30 Minute Epoxy, to glue our rhinestones onto our shrink plastic. Now, the reason being why I don't just use one glue for both is I think this will probably be a better glue for the plastic, and this is going to be a better glue for the rhinestones. If I try to use this, it'll fog up the rhinestones and eat the back of them. So that's why you don't want to use something like this on that. And then I think this will be a better rhinestone for the, and I think this will be a better glue for the rhinestones. So we're also going to use some sandpaper as well. And then I'm going to use the little heat guns to shrink down the plastic because it is the south and it is 100 degrees outside right now, and I don't want to heat up the basement any more than I already have to. But you can use your home oven. You can also use a little like sublimation oven if you have one of those as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to go set up and cut out our shrink plastic. Then we're going to shrink it, and then we are going to decorate it. Also, there will be a list of supplies down below of where I got things and links to things. Alright, so this is my shrink plastic, and this is where I cut out my circles the first time. So all I'm going to do is put it on my mat here, and we're just going to turn it to this side. Alright, so we're in Silhouette Studio. I've already drawn out our little shapes here. So I got circles, and then 3 little circles, and then this guy is a flexi shape. It is a paid upgrade. I'm not sure which paid upgrade it is, but the flexi shapes are kind of cool because you can move them, and then you can decide like how many little petals you want. We got a bunch of them, but it is a paid upgrade. You could pick any shape that you want to, but remember that fat blobby things are probably going to do better on the shoes than like a long skinny thing. But these are my shapes that I have done already. This circle is 2 inches. That's the size I decided I liked the best out of the original ones I cut. So originally I cut a 2, 2.5, and 3 inch one because I wasn't sure how much it was going to shrink. But 2 inches is the one I decided I liked the most. So we're going to do 2 inches here, and then I think everything else is kind of 2-ish inches as well. I'm going to go over to the send panel now. And these are our little shapes with the outlines around them. There is a shrink plastic setting in the software already. So we're just going to cut manual blade of 1 millimeter, which is just your standard ratchet blade. Any of the cameos can do this, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now I increased this to 4 passes, and I use a blade depth of 10, the good old ratchet blade. Now I have a blade specifically for shrink plastic, and it's probably getting a little dull, so you may not need 4 passes. What I would do is run 2 and then check it and then see if you need to run 2 more. And it won't cut all the way through. It's basically going to score it enough so that you can just pop them right out. So we're going to do a force of 33 and a speed of 5. The original speed is 1, but you will be here all day if you do a speed of 1. So, and we are going to cut this on my trusty Cameo 2. Okay, so don't unload it. What you're going to want to do is peel off, and you're going to want some kind of crease on the back of your shrink plastic here, showing that it's caught, showing that you at least have like an imprint back here. If you don't, just go back to the machine and run it through a couple more times. This is very blade dependent, so if your blade's getting old or it's cut a lot, it may take multiple passes. If you get a brand new blade, you may be 2 passes and you're probably good to go. Also, probably going to vary some shrink plastic to shrink plastic, so don't unload it. Make sure you have a crease on the back. If you do, unload and you're good to go. If you don't, just go back to the machine and hit repeat job. All right, so those are our cuts. So we're going to flip it over. Also, keep your scraps for when you have a brilliant idea and you just need to test it real quick. So Silhouette doesn't cut out the shrink plastic. So what it does do is it scores it enough for us to pop it out. So now that's what you're gonna do is cut it, and then it should just pop right out of the plastic here. Couple things to keep in mind. Shrink plastic likes to tear. If it does, more than likely when you shrink it, you won't know unless you tear off like an entire like ear of a dog or something. But if you make a little tear, more than likely not gonna know, so I would let it roll. But like little pokey parts like this, the shrink plastic wants to tear, so keep that in mind when you're picking out your shapes. See, and I just tore it right there. So we're just going to pretend like it's not there, and we are going to move on. Also, I have a theory that if you set up like a CB09 blade, that it probably would be able to cut clean through, rather than a ratchet blade. Maybe we'll do that one day. So if you want to cut a lot of shrink plastic, I would highly suggest looking into setting that up. So I'm just going to keep cutting these out. All right, so we're going to sand these real quick just to give the glue a little better chance at adhering and everything. So you're going to want to sand both front and back of your shrink plastic. Nothing too crazy, just enough to rough everything up. And this is just a damp paper towel with some water on it. And what I'm going to do is just wipe it off to get any of the dust off. So, all right, so I apologize, this is hard to see. So this is our black little flower here. This is the black tray out of my little convection oven down here. The reason why is I was using the ceramic tile, but the ceramic tile isn't flat. There's like divots in it, and so when I would flatten it out with my handy dandy Bath and Body Works candle, some of the ridges from the tile would come through. So you're just going to need something heat resistant to squish everything down with, and something flat heat resistant to squish it with. So We're gonna need those two things. And then I'm using my little heat gun. The reason being, like I said earlier, it is the South. In the summer, it is a billion degrees outside. So I don't want to heat up my house with either the stove or convection oven. They say that it's 100% toxic free, so that you can use them if you want to. Highly suggest cutting a shape out, shrinking it down, and then basing your measurements off that, and continuously shrinking them the same way. So I'm always going to use this heat gun with these sizes for this project. If I wanted to do something else and I used a convection oven because it was the winter, I would go off measurements for that. So, and then I've got a spatula and tweezers just in case it decides to go flying. And there we go, our little charmy thing. All right, so I was gonna decorate next up, and then I had an epiphany. If we glued these on, then I would have a holder while I decorated, as opposed to trying to like hold this in glue. So that's what we're gonna do next, is we're gonna attach these to our shrink plastic. Now, on the bottom of the candle, there's still the sticker. So that's what this is. So obviously, we want to put that on the bottom of our charm here. So we're using this now. Honestly, I think any number of glues would work for this situation. This was just on the shelf when I was looking for something. So if you have another favoritist glue, by all means. These aren't the best to inhale, so use it in a well-ventilated space and be smart with it. Now, it tells you what to do is to put it on and let it sit for 2 minutes and then put them together. So what I've been doing is squishing them together and making sure they're flat. And then pull them apart real quick. Now let them sit like this for like a minute or so for the glue to tack up, and then put them back together. Because according to the directions, that's the best way to do this. So, and you do want to make sure that it's flat. I had one of the pearls that wasn't staying stuck, and it was because the glue wasn't on there flat. The pearls are the same thing. You can actually sand the top of these for a little added adhesion insurance, but I kind of forgot. So if you want to sand them, go for it. If you don't, then don't. The pearls are from the Pearl Mix she's Blingee Thingee over on Etsy. I've just been picking out the pearls that I like from the mixes that I have from her. There's any number of places you can get pearls, pearl mixes, all those kind of things, if you want them. So now after a minute or so, we're just going to squish them back on there. And then we're going to let them set up. It says to let them sit for 24 hours for maximum adhesion. But I'm going to go eat some dinner, and we'll probably be back at this in an hour or so. Alrighty, so we are back from dinner. These are all good to go. We've got our bases attached on here, so we have something to hold on to while we glue. Now, I've already decided what I want on my charms here. Like I said, I've got the pearls, and then these are glass rhinestones. These are mermaid tears, which are like the domey ones, and then these are just regular glass rhinestones. I prefer glass for the shoes because they're more durable, and your shoes do take quite a lot of abuse. So, but it's really up to you and what you want to do. I have picked through all sorts of rhinestones that I own to come up with what I want for my shoes. But really, the sky is the limit as long as you can glue it onto our little bases here. So up here, I already did our flower and one of our little 3 ones here. So we're gonna take our Bob Smith, and then I like to use a good old foam paper plate. And then kind of mostly equal parts-ish is what you're shooting for here. And then this is a makeup applicator, and then you're just gonna squish them together. And you wanna make sure that they're fairly well mixed and in equal parts. If by some chance you don't get equal parts, it just won't stick, it won't dry. It'll just be tacky glue. So just take it off and redo it. Don't ask me how I know that. But you want to make sure that you coat the entire little shrink plastic here. It will give it a shiny, glossy appearance and make it all the same. Give it all the same finish. Also help fill in any of those gaps from our sanding. I'll make it glossy. And then I prefer the wax pencils. So we're just gonna take this pearl and bunk it right down in the middle. Now the resin, or the two-part epoxy, is going to want to move. So be very careful and keep an eye on these guys, because they will slide until they start to set up more. And you're gonna do the same thing with this guy. The wax pencils are better at holding rhinestones than they are the pearls. So, and then I just got one regular little rhinestone to put in the middle. And you do want to make sure that everybody's like really squished down and kind of very seated into their glue. Now this one we're going to do like our original one over here. And then we're just going to scooch them out here. And there we go. Alright, so those are our finished croc charms here. Up close. Those are our little Mary Janes here. Now I found the best way to take them out is to push from the bottom. Just push them right out. And then the best way to put them in is almost like at an angle here. And to slide them in that way. It is a bit of some work here because they're really fat. But they slide in there a little bit easier than I just showed you. Now, keep in mind this plastic and glue. I would not be shocked if one of them broke, but I have been wearing them for probably the past week or so to work and back, and they're still looking pretty good. These are actually bought from Crocs themselves. I didn't make the bows. I really liked them. I just made these guys. So if you have any questions, please let me know down in the comments. I'll be happy to answer them. There's going to be a little short up if you want to watch it be made in quick time. That's where we made these little guys. And I would like to make some color ones. Maybe we'll do that in another video. But if you have any questions, please let me know. I'll be happy to answer them down in the comments. There'll be a list of supplies because I know there was a lot down in the description. And thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and all that stuff too. Thank you so much.